let's make sure this works. Hi, everybody. Let's make sure we're good to go. I think we are. Hey. Are we live? Can we see me? Can we hear? That's the most important thing. I need to make sure we're live. So just give me a little, hey, y'all, what's going on? Give me a little something. Let me know you can hear me, and then let me know if you guys can see me okay. I think all looks good on my side, but I think we're good to go. Okay, so I think we're good. So hey everybody, welcome. If you're on my email list, I just sent you an email to whatever email you subscribe to, or that you use to subscribe to my email list, and let you know I was gonna go live. I'm right now, should be live on Instagram. No, not Instagram. I'm live on, what am I live on? Periscope, I'm live on YouTube, I'm live on my Facebook profile, and I'm also live on my Facebook business page. So if you are watching this, that means you follow me. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. So here's the deal. I wanted to pop online simply because I posted earlier on my Instagram, ask me some, what questions do you have about credit? And what I didn't realize is that my inbox was going to blow up the way it has completely blown up. So you guys have lots of questions, and so I wanted to hop on, and I said, let's do it live. Why don't I go ahead and answer all the questions live? So you probably can't see this because of the lighting, but just know there are a gazillion questions about credit. So what I wanted to do was answer some questions live. So I'll read some of the questions. I've got devices everywhere. I'll read some of the questions, and then I'll give you guys some of the responses, okay? All right, so this is all about credit. Normally I'm on this time cooking, but I had Diner with Darius Cooks this weekend in Detroit. We had a great time in Detroit, both Saturday and Sunday. Yesterday we had a little bit of a kickback at my house with some friends, and so today I've been catching up on all of my above 701 credit work, and which is really what prompted the question to go forward. So I figured I'd answer some questions and then give you a little free tip, and then we'll go from there, all right? So I'm not gonna get to all the questions. I won't get to all the comments. If you guys have any specific questions for me, you can always ask me. You can always email me, darius@dariuscooks.com. Whatever the case might be, you can reach me. And it may take me a couple of days to get back to you, but I promise I'm coming, all right? All right, so here is a question from someone who says, what is the best bill to charge monthly on your credit card? All right, what's the best bill to charge monthly on your credit card? So, oh, and by the way, I didn't pre-read any of these. So this is straight off the dome to you. So a couple things I would say about charging stuff to a credit card. I, for one, am all for it. I'm all for charging anything to a credit card that you're able to pay off before the month is over. And I want you to remember two things, right? I want you to remember the actual due date of your credit card bill and the reporting date of your credit card. Those are two different dates, right? The due date is when the bill is due and you're not charged a late charge or any additional interest or any penalty. The reporting date is the date that actual creditor reports to the credit bureau the status of your credit card, whatever the case might be, right? In many cases, those days are not the same date. Why is that important? It's important for a number of reasons. If you're looking to use your credit for any reason whatsoever, you could carry a balance and potentially carry a balance over the suggested threshold of 30%, right? So they say you shouldn't carry more than 30% over on your credit card or your total amount of credit. You would carry a balance more than 30%. But if the reporting date hits before the due date and you have plans to pay it off, it's gonna look like you're not being responsible with your credit. So before I can answer to you that type of question, I need you to make sure you really understand the reporting date of the actual bill itself or creditor, and then the actual due date. So if you're able to pay off all of your credit before the month turns, then you can charge whatever you want to, right? If your credit limit happens to be, 5 figures, and you happen to have a lot of bills that you happen to pay every month, like me as an entrepreneur with businesses that I run, then it makes absolute perfect sense to use your credit in place of cash. As long as you have the ability to pay it off before the actual due date happens, you're good to go. I would say use it. As a matter of fact, I'm such a proponent of this that this is what I do. I get a credit card that gives me points for things that I enjoy. So even though I'm a business owner, I use my personal credit card for lots of business expenses, and I get the benefit of using the actual credit card, right? So think about it this way. Whatever you love to do, whether you love to drive, whether you love vacationing, whether you love travel, there are cards or credit cards associated with all of this. So when you spend X amount of dollars, you get X amount of points. And I say this, if you got good credit and you have to use the credit card to pay off stuff anyway, use the credit card to pay it off, whatever the bill is, and get the benefit of using the actual credit card, right? So that's the difference between using cash and using the actual credit card. So the example I can give you is this. I have a Southwest credit card, right? I love Southwest. Wherever Southwest goes, or wherever I go, if Southwest goes, I'm gonna fly Southwest. I prefer Southwest over, other airlines just because Southwest leaves on time. You know what I'm saying? You get 2 bags to fly free. You ain't getting, meals and all that good stuff, but you're gonna get there on time, and in many cases you'll get there early, while other airlines might still have you sitting at the airport. And when you travel a lot like I do, that becomes important. So I actually have a Southwest credit card that I use for everything, and the limit on the credit card is like $35,000. So I'm able to use that limit to pay for all the expenses for greens and gravy, for dining with Darius Cooks. And here's the deal, I get the points for using that card. So right now, I've got like 415,000 points on Southwest that I could use at any given time. Now, had I paid for all those expenses that I had in cash, I wouldn't have had that benefit. You see what I'm saying? So with the Southwest card, I now have the benefit of not just getting the exchange of goods, but then also I could use the card for other stuff. So that is a benefit to having fairly decent credit, and then also realizing that you could use a card to pay for things and get the benefit for the card. So in conclusion, that was the long way of saying, if you have the ability to pay off your bills and your credit cards before the month is over, you can charge whatever you want to. All right, the next question. Can you get a repossession off of my credit even if I still owe? Yeah. Also, by the way, if we don't get to everything, you need to know that all the information for what you're looking for is available for you at above701.com, just FYI, okay? So here's the deal. Yes, absolutely, you can totally get things removed from your credit report, right? Does that mean that absolves you from the actual debt itself? It does not, right? Because what you owe and what is shown on your credit report are two different things, right? And conversely, it works kind of two ways, against you and actually for you. So here's a way that it works for you. Many of us have had, old cell phone bills, right? And so we might have had a cell phone bill from Sprint, and then before it was Sprint, it was Cellular One or something like that. And so the cell phone bill was on my credit report for Cellular One, then it got on my cell phone bill for Sprint, and then Sprint sold the debt to some collection agency who then sold the debt to another collection agency. So I got 4 hits on my credit report for the exact same thing, right? So here's one way this kind of works for you. 3 of those items are literally erroneous because they all belong to the same organization. And unfortunately, your credit scores are taking a hit because it's shown on your credit report 4 different times, right? If I can get it removed 3 of the 4, guess what? You're going to see a little bit of an increase in your credit score because now instead of having 4 negative items on your credit report, you only have 1 negative item. That's number 1. Number 2 is that, so you still are responsible. So what I do is it's not illegal. You're still responsible for the debt. But if it's not shown on your credit report because we were able to dispute and have it deleted, what that means is that your next creditor can no longer hold you accountable for what they don't see. So anybody who has to underwrite a loan, a mortgage, a car note, a line of credit, any underwriter who has to do this work, they have to assess and mitigate risk. And one of the ways they do that is by looking at your previous credit history. Well, guess what? If you work with above 701 and your information is now gone off of your credit report, it was legally deleted from your credit report and it's not shown anymore, then guess what happens? Now that new creditor can no longer hold you accountable. So, can repossessions be removed from your credit report? Absolutely. Any and everything that is on your credit report can be challenged. Okay, I'm gonna say that again because a lot of times people have a hard time with that. Any and everything that is on your credit report can be challenged. I'm gonna say it one more time. Okay, I'm gonna say it 2 more times. Any and everything that is on your credit report can be challenged. I'll say it one last time just to make sure everybody has it. Any and everything on your credit report can be challenged. This is student loans, bankruptcies, repossessions, foreclosures, public records, liens, tax, any and everything that is on your credit report can be challenged. So yes, repossessions can be deleted and removed and not show back up again. Doesn't mean you don't owe for it. It just means that creditor can no longer hold you accountable for it by listing it on your actual credit report. All right? All right, cool. Someone says, I have 817, that's their credit score, and they're trying to get to perfect credit, which is 850. Any tips? All right, so here's what I would say to Miss 817. First of all, congratulations. 817 is an amazing credit score to have. I would venture to ask you, and I do this with my own clients, why do you want 850, right? Like what's the real need for you saying, I want to be at an 850 credit score? Is it just to say that? Or is there really some sort of financial goal you're trying to achieve by being at an 850 credit score? Because let me be very honest with you. There's nothing that an 817 won't get you. You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, there are a lot of things that a 717 won't get you. You see what I'm saying? So it just depends on what you're trying to do. If you are going for a mortgage, in many cases, mortgage companies require a 640. So, an 817 is amazing, and there's really nothing that you would apply for that you wouldn't qualify for at an 817. Now, qualifying is the first, that gets you in the door. Okay, so the qualification is the first step, but there's also a full review of what's able to be seen on your credit report. And with an 817, you should be in really good shape. But let's just say, you're going for an American Express, and American Express reviews that 817, and they start looking at the numbers and they start seeing what your available credit is to how much debt you actually have, and the mix of accounts, and you've got 3 mortgages, and you know what I'm saying? So you could still be at an 817 because you got great payment history, and maybe you make a decent salary doing whatever you're doing and you can afford everything. But if the creditor deems that you might become a risk, they have to mitigate that risk in some kind of way. So again, I would venture to ask, what did you need an 817 for, or 850 for, that an 817 won't get you? You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents. Okay. All right. So someone says, how do you raise your score after bankruptcy? This is a very good question. I get asked this so many times because what happens is that people go, okay, do I do, in the middle of financial hardship or in the middle of credit hardship, people will ask, do I file bankruptcy, Darius, or do I work with a credit restoration company like Above 701? And I would venture to say, let's do some thinking, right? What are your plans in the future? Because if you're looking to, buy a house or become financially sound in the future, 9 times out of 10, that's going to require some credit. And with a bankruptcy sitting on your credit report, which by the way, doesn't stay for 7, it could actually go up to 10 years on your actual credit report. Who's going to approve you for anything with that on your credit 2 or 3 years out? Now, there are lots of programs that will give you stuff with high interest rates and this, that, and the third. But I'm from the school of thought is this, right? This is what I tell people all the time. I'm not here for you to give me just what I qualify for. You know how we have that attitude where we go, well, I'll just take what they give me, or, I'll just do this to get started. That's not me at all. I'm not with that attitude. I don't like that attitude. I don't approach anything in life. I approach it with, what do I want? Not what will you give me? What is it that I actually want? And if I deem myself to be credit worthy and I have the right amount of capital to get started, what I want, I should actually have. So that's just my sort of way I think about how things work in general. So in the long run, when you file bankruptcy, it actually does more bad than it does good, just because you're locked for the next 7 to 10 years with what you really can do freely as it pertains to your actual life, right? So if you're looking to buy a house and you're three years out from a bankruptcy, reverse the scenario. If you were a mortgage company, would you give somebody a loan for $275,000 as a mortgage when they just had a bankruptcy 3 years ago? Probably not, right? You probably look at it and go, oh, I don't know. I got to mitigate this in some kind of way, so this is risky. People don't realize that when they file for bankruptcy. Now, if you are $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 in debt, you might want to look at bankruptcy as a viable solution. You see what I'm saying? But if you're anywhere between $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 in debt, a lot of times that debt can be deleted from your credit report with one round of disputes. You know what I'm saying? So just weigh the pros and cons, right? And I mean, even if you can't get, because I'm not going to say like, I can get 100%. I'm not going to ever qualify or ever quantify what I say and say I can get 100% of your bad debt deleted from your credit report. I would never say that in a million years. But if I'm able to get 85, 86, 87% of your bad credit deleted from your credit report, and you only have a 13% left that's on your credit report, I mean that's a much better opportunity at getting yourself back in the saddle than going the route of bankruptcy where you're stuck for the next 7 to 10 years. And a lot of people come to me and say, damn, I wish I would have known about this beforehand. So, you can only plant the seed. I can only preach as much as I can preach. It's up for you to apply it, right? So I would say before you do bankruptcy, let's have some conversation to see what makes sense, okay? All right, someone says, can you help get rid of 3 collection accounts to increase my score from 633? Absolutely. That's the crux of my business. That's the core of what I do. What we do is we look at, anything that's on your credit report that's negative, that's erroneous, that's outdated, that's not right, that shouldn't be there, that hurts your credit score. And those are the things I actually go after and get those items deleted. So absolutely, I can actually help you do that. All right. Someone says, how much do you charge for service? That's a great question. And I'm going to say this. I get this question asked so many times about what it is the cost of service is, and people actually think I'm very expensive. And okay, that's fine if you think that, but we can do some numbers and do some math and kind of go from there. So I charge 2 rates, right? I have a flat rate, like an upfront payment, and then I have a payment plan option, right? So the upfront rate right now is $1,300 upfront. There's actually a June special between you and I that's still going on for $1,000. It's on the website. I didn't take it down yet, but it's still there. Or the payment plan option is $200 down and then $150 a month for the next 12 months, right? Which is going to end up putting you at a higher rate that you would pay just because it's actually a payment plan. If you look at my competition, like the big players in the game, so like Lexington Law, FES, which is Financial Education Systems or Services or whatever they are, or some people who might be commenting who work for them, those costs are considerably more than what I would charge. So Lexington Law is like $170 for like 36 months or something like that, right? So 170 times 36, you end up paying $6,120 for Lexington Law, so $6,120. I don't even know the price for financial. I think it's like $95, $99 a month for, I want to say like 24 months or something like that for education systems. So that's $23.76. So we got $6,000, we got $23.76, and my upfront cost is $1,300. You know what I mean? So people always say I'm pretty expensive, but I guess, if you only can look at my price and don't compare it to anybody else's, then sure. And also I think, our guarantee is that I will work with you until your score is above 701 is pretty accurate. I think, people who I've shown the receipts of and the receipts to. So as a matter of fact, I took a picture today. I hope it's on this phone I'm on. Let's see, what phone is it on? Yeah, it's on this phone. Yep. So I took a picture today. This was a person who started with me before. This is dated January 26th, 2018. Let me dim the light. So this is January 28th, 2018. And you can see there are 3 credit scores there. This is what this person was in January. So 681, 666, and a 656, I think is what it is, or 59. Right now, this is today, which is July 18th is when this was run. They were at 682, 682, and 698, the exact same person, right? So that's kind of the work that I actually do, where I guarantee you that I will work with you until your score is above 701, and that's how we roll. So anyway, those are just some guarantees. That's the price. It is what it is. It's completely under market value for what I do, but hey, it's up for you. All right. So let's see. So someone says, is paying off a car early a good or bad thing? It just depends on what you're trying to do. That's all. I actually finance. I have two cars. I have a BMW and I have a Jeep that I just got. I don't know, some months ago that I don't even want anymore. I want the new Chevy Blazer. That's a whole different story. So I have two cars, right? I never buy a brand new car. Number one, that's just ridiculous. I never do that. I always go to CarMax and get the cars from CarMax, right? Yes, I have the cash in my account to pay for the car in full, but paying for a car in full does nothing for my actual credit report, right? The mix of accounts that you have, so mortgage, revolving accounts, car notes, auto loans, things like that, that actually is what helps your credit score stay high, right? So for me, it was more of, well, do I have the cash to pay for the car up front? Yeah, I do. But if paying the car note is actually going to help my credit score stay high, I might want to consider that. Now, in the long run, let's just be honest, financially, I'm actually kind of wasting money, right? Because if I could pay it up front, why wouldn't I just pay it up front instead of paying an interest, right? Well, the deal is, first of all, I have a very low interest rate on both of my car loans, so what I'm paying is minimal, and I just changed my perspective a little bit. So I look at the interest that I pay on my car loans, just the amount of money I have to dish out to keep my credit score high. Because if I didn't have those car loans on my credit report, the total amount of the credit that I have, that I be using, is gonna now decrease by the balances that I owe on these loans. Well, when that number decreases, then my credit score is gonna drop as well. So I wanna keep my credit score high, which is the reason why. So to answer the question, I would venture to say, if you are in a situation where maybe it's a third car or second car and you want to pay it off, then by all means. But I think having one car loan on your actual credit report is really good, because what it'll do is just keep your credit score high, boost your credit score. And what happens when you have to go apply for another car loan, or you need to go, another line of credit. Now underwriters have history, this i.e. this car loan, they can look at and actually see what's happened with your credit. So anyway, there you go. Okay. All right. Someone says, does paying off debt that is in collections or charged off affect your score? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Paying off bad debt affects your score. However, there are a few caveats, a few pieces of information that you must know about paying off bad debt. Okay. Number one, you can pay off your bad debt, you can pay your bills on time, and your credit score still won't increase. It is because of the way the creditors are reporting to the actual credit bureau. So if you actually did have a charge off, or you did have an item in collections and you paid it off in full, you still have to go through the dispute process to have that challenged on your credit report, to have it either updated or removed, okay? What will end up happening 8 times out of 10, is you'll pay off your old cell phone bill. Sprint will update your account and go collections paid in full. That's just as bad as having a collection account on your credit report. Because what is the new underwriter going to do when you go apply for a line of credit? They're going to look at the new designation and say, oh, this was in collections. Not only do I see, but does it say it was in collections, I could see you were 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days past due for the last 8 months. Oh, I'm sorry. Even though you paid it off, I have to deny your application, right? So paying off the debt, yeah, it sort of helps you, right? Because now the creditors aren't calling your phone or reaching out to you, but you still have to actually go through the actual dispute process, not to have it updated, right? To have it deleted. Why would you want to show a paid collection account on your credit report? Reverse the roles. I always say that. You become the creditor, and let me now become the client. I come to you, right, and I say, well, I had a collection and it was paid off. You're going to say, but Darius, you were still in collections. And you were in collections for a long time. I don't think you're going to pay this bill on time. I'm sorry. I'm not taking this risk. To mitigate this risk, I will deny your application. You see what I'm saying? So again, an underwriter, a creditor can't hold against you what ain't there. You know what I mean? So if it's deleted and it's gone, they can't hold you accountable for that, which is super important for you to know. Now, the next thing you got to know is about charge-offs. I teach this all the time. If you're taking notes, this is an important note to take, okay? This might get a little lofty. It might go over your head. I'm going to do the best I can to simplify this for you. But check this out. Whenever you pay your bills on time, and let's say let's say a cable service, you pay your bills to Comcast on time, that's considered revenue to Comcast. Makes sense, right? Money comes from you, goes to Comcast. Comcast lists what they got from you as a part of their balance sheet. That's revenue, right? Comcast now has to pay taxes on the revenue, right? So revenue minus, they pay sales tax, use tax, or you pay it rather, but they also have to pay like federal corporation taxes on whatever the profit is, right? So they got to pay tax. Whenever you pay them, they got to pay taxes. Watch this. Watch this. If for some reason they relieve you of your responsibility, your outstanding balance, by charging it off, now they don't pay taxes on that. You see what I'm saying? So every time Comcast charges off an account, they're relieved of the tax bill that would have been associated with the account, okay? So really, a big player like Comcast, it's in their best interest to keep track of what they're charging off, because that now becomes a deduction when they file their taxes as a corporation, okay? So when you pay them, they got to pay taxes. When you don't pay them, it decreases their tax bill, okay? If they charge off an account, right? Watch this. If they charge off your account, you are no longer legally responsible for the actual debt, okay? They've charged it off. So they've relieved you of the debt. Now, the downside of that is they're actually going to show it on your credit report as a charge-off. They have every right to do that. You have to be smart enough to know that that now can be disputed, and charge-offs are actually one of the easiest things to get removed from a credit report, okay? It's one of the easiest things to get removed from a credit report because they want to charge it off to cut their tax bill, so it's in their best benefit, all right? So paying off a debt will increase your credit score if you're able to dispute it and have it deleted, okay? It will help your credit score if it's charged off and you have it deleted. Just know, right, just because you paid something off does not mean this. I actually am live. Somebody said, am I live? I am live right now. Hi, I'm just live on multiple platforms, okay? So it can relieve you, but you have to make sure that you have that thing disputed properly so that it's gone completely from your actual credit report itself, okay? All right, let's keep going. I hope you guys are good with this. I hope you like this, okay? All right. So somebody says, what is the best way to utilize as far as what the credit limit should be and how much to use? Very, very simple question. Keep your credit under 30%. So I tell my clients like 27% or below. So very simple. If you have $10,000 of available credit, like, you know, between two credit cards, maybe you got two credit cards worth $5,000, don't spend more than $2,700 combined on those credit cards. Don't do that and you're good to go. You see what I'm saying? That keeps your utilization low. It shows you're actually using your credit, which is also going to help your credit score increase, okay? All right, let's see. So someone says, I owe credit cards which have gone on my report. Does it make sense to get your help? Absolutely. I mean, come on, okay? Your credit score is in the toilet because you had the bad debt on your credit card. So yeah, let's talk. For more information, it's on the bottom of the screen, above701.com, okay? All right, so let's see. So someone says, I'm a student, but I have some things on my credit from parents. What's my first move? Didn't we all have bills in our name? Didn't we all have bills in our name? All right, so it's the same thing, right? Anything that is what we call erroneous, right? So that means it doesn't belong to you, it shouldn't be there. Those things can be challenged. And I go back to what I say when I talk about everything on your actual credit report can be challenged, okay? Everything on your credit report can be challenged. So absolutely, if there are some things that are on your credit report that, you know, are not yours and your parents, we can definitely talk and get those items removed, all right? Someone says, where do I start? Great question. All this can be very overwhelming. I do understand. I do get it. I understand. Very simple. Just go to my website, right? It's this website. It's above701.com. There's a link that says get started. That's it. You fill out the information on that card, make the payment, and I take over, do the rest. I do everything. I will send you some forms to sign for me, and you have to provide some ID for me that I keep on file. But other than that, that's it. That's it. You don't do anything else. I do all the work. And by the way, it's my company. I'm not outsourced to anybody. I'm not an affiliate of any service. This is I own it. I started it. It's my company, above701.com, all right? Someone says, can late payments be removed? Absolutely. Absolutely. Late payments can definitely be removed and the designation can be reversed. So the way it looks on the credit report is it'll say, you know, let's say for the first 10 months of whatever you got, you paid on time. So it'll say, okay. And then you'll go 30 days past due. They'll put 30 down. You might go to 60, you might put 60, then they'll go back to okay. Those late payments affect your credit score for up to a year. Right? So you want to try to get those removed or reversed. And the best thing I could tell you is if you've had good payment history and you just fell on to hard times and you caught back up again, those are the easiest ones to get reversed. They can be very tricky, right? But you helped me out when you pay on time and just fell into a little situation and you work your way back out. You see what I'm saying? Then absolutely, they can totally be removed. All right? Another great question. Is Credit Karma a good tool to use for checking and repairing credit? If you're on Periscope right now, you know the answer to this, okay? To everyone else, hell no, okay? That is a resounding hell no. Stop using Credit Karma. Stop using Credit Sesame, okay? Thinking you know what's going on. That is not your actual credit score itself, okay? Do a challenge. Go to a place like creditchecktotal.com. That's my #1 favorite comprehensive credit website. All my clients are on Credit Check Total. Go to creditchecktotal.com, okay? Check your credit through creditchecktotal.com. Compare those 3 credit scores, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You only get 2 on Credit Karma. You only get, I think Equifax and TransUnion, or Experian and TransUnion, whatever. You only get 2. You see what I'm saying? Look at the 2. They're going to be grossly under or grossly over. Stop using Credit Sesame and Credit Karma thinking you know what's going on with your credit. Use the actual source itself. Now, here's the deal. Credit Karma is okay to use if you're monitoring your accounts, right? So let's say you have your TransUnion and you some stuff has to be deleted and you're working on disputes. Yeah, you can look on it because it'll tell you something is gone, it's been deleted. Yeah, that's cool. Do that. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes to a comprehensive tool that gives you a complete view of what's going on, please, ma'am, please, sir, do not use Credit Karma at all. Please do not use that website at all, okay? Hold on, I think my battery's gonna die in 1 second. Hold on, I was getting good. Let me change this battery around. Hold on, y'all. Change this charger. Make sure we get some good charge over here. The devil trying to stop us. Okay, we might be okay. We'll check it in a few minutes. Okay. All right, so no to Credit Karma and no to Credit Sesame, okay? Okay. Let's see. Does paying down your credit cards dramatically increase your score? Yeah. And this happened to me. I mean, it happened to me. You know, I carry high balances on my credit cards because, you know, I'm a business owner, right? So, you know, it's nothing for me to have, you know, $25,000, $30,000 in expenses in 1 month. You know, it costs money to buy food for greens and gravy. I got to buy plane tickets to fly across, dine with Darius Cooks. I got to go to local grocery stores. I got to get a rental car. So it's expensive to be a business owner. And what happened was one of those weeks, the 15th was like on a weekend or something like that, and I knew I could pay my bill by the 11th, even though it's not due until the 30th. And I paid it like on the 12th or something like that. I paid it like a day late, and I missed the reporting period, and it shot my utilization way up, and my credit score took a really big hit because of that, right? So you got to make sure you know those dates of when to pay it. But you pay it off, you pay it down, in the next 60 days you'll be back where you were. But the thing is, if you're not using your credit for 60 days, then fine, no big deal. If you happen to be using your credit for something like you're looking for a house or whatever, bad deal. Which is why they tell you don't use a credit card at all. Once you get your credit good and you're looking for a home, stop. Don't pay for everything in cash. Don't charge a thing, okay? Matter of fact, don't spend no money because the bank is watching, all right? So yes, paying down your credit cards does help your score increase. And if you're stuck, like, I know sometimes, everybody doesn't have the available cash to pay your credit cards down. I get that. But if you're in a situation where you are stuck, what I will say is try to get it under 30%. You know what I mean? So try as hard as you can to pay it down under 30%. You do that, you'll be in a better shape than keeping it over 30%. You know what I mean? So do that to at least stop the bleeding and then go from there. All right? All right, cool. So someone says, how do you raise your score with a low income? I literally live paycheck to paycheck. I love questions like these. I love these types of questions because we have to address a few things. And I mean, this is where it gets tough. This is not easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat any of this. This is where it gets really tough. And I know it's hard. I know, I've been there where I've been living check to check. I mean, I tell my testimony, my story, where I literally had $5,000 to my name. I was down to like $900 before I actually found a job, a few years ago. So, people look at me now, or they look at me, as an entrepreneur and say, oh, he's great. I've been there. So I know what it's like. But here's the thing, man. I think sacrifice and discipline are going to be super important. Nobody makes it to any next level, any next dimension without sacrifice and without discipline. So I would really like to challenge what this whole check to check thing is. Because you can't tell me that you're check to check when I look on Instagram and you were in Punta Cana. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me you check the check. I look on Instagram and you hanging out having drinks with your girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a point where we look at what really is necessary, and we have to look at how we're sacrificing and how we're disciplining ourselves. If you are really serious about, getting your life together, your credit together, and even if you get to a point where you're like, I'm check to check, and I want to get together, but you got a cell phone bill, I don't want to hear it. You're not check to check. You know what I'm saying? There is cash somewhere that's available that you can look at and say, okay, what could I do for myself? And listen, you didn't get where you got to overnight, meaning a bad situation. So you're not going to get where you need to get on the flip side overnight. I would love to challenge and say, what are we doing to increase our value? What are we doing to increase our net worth? The jobs that we're at, are we there just because that's all we can take, or have we done what needed to be done to get ourselves to a point where we can generate more income? What about starting a business? What skill, what gift am I using? So, I mean, there's a lot of ways this could actually go. But when somebody tells me they're living check to check, I love to challenge that because, listen, one thing I know is there's money in the land, all right? I make 5 figures consecutively without even trying that hard on a month-to-month basis. I wrote a cookbook 3 years ago that's still selling to this day. You know what I'm saying? So you can't tell me. And I also built a multi-7-figure business from nothing, from a piece of paper on a note on a napkin. You know what I'm saying? So you can't come to me and tell me that what's possible and impossible, or I'm living check to check, when we haven't exhausted all of our resources, right? A lot of times, we don't need another blessing financially. We need discipline, all right? A lot of times we don't need another, piece of help to come our way. Is we just being lazy. You know what I mean? So I just want to challenge that. And I'm not saying that, that's everybody's reality, but I do know when I do business coaching and I look into people's lives and I peel the layers back, we start uncovering some stuff that's there that you go, you know what, Darius, you're absolutely right. I should have been doing this. I haven't taken my innate skill or my innate ability, and I haven't used that to the best benefit, right? There's money in the land, but I haven't done anything to attain any sort of wealth. You know what I mean? So I really want to challenge us to think a little bit deeper and go a little further. But I can't do that on this live because we're talking about credit. But you do see where I'm going with this. All right? Okay, let's keep going. We got a few more minutes to go. All right, someone says, I have a chapter 13 and my credit still sucks. Any tips for improving my credit? You know, same thing. Holler at me. We can certainly work on getting that public record deleted from your credit report. And again, that's a perfect example where I talk about people who say, well, Darius, you know, I'm filing for bankruptcy, my credit score is going to shoot up, right? And then when you file bankruptcy, you look at your credit report and your score is 575. And you go, my score's been 575 for 6 months. Why is my credit score not increasing? And then you go and you try to buy a car or you go look for an apartment and then they do hard inquiries on your credit score, on your credit report, and then your score dips from 575 to 545. You see what I'm saying? And then you really stuck talking about what am I supposed to do? I filed bankruptcy, it didn't work. You know what I mean? So talk to me, all right? I'll help you out, all right? Someone says, how much is the service and are the results guaranteed? I never guarantee any results. Nobody who does what I do can guarantee any results. There's not one person who repairs, fixes, restores, advises. There's not one person who can guarantee any of this work will be what will be done, because there are way too many factors that are out of my control. And I get it. You're spending a lot of money with me. You don't know me. You have no idea who I am. And you're going, well, you do know because you know you saw me cook. But you're like, Darius, I don't know this. So my guarantee that I do give you is that regardless of how long it takes, I will work with you until your credit score is above 701. And I think that's the bigger picture we have to paint, right? I'll work with you until the score is above 701. So that would, for me, it means let me hurry up and get this done as soon as possible, because I don't want to be working on this credit for the next, year and a half, and I'm not getting any more money from you. You know what I'm saying? So I like to get stuff done, with the quickness and as soon as I can, but there are way too many factors out of my control. So the only guarantee I do give you is that I'll work with you until the score is above 701. Okay? All right. So someone says, let's see. I'm trying to get the questions that I haven't already answered. These are all the same. Is there life after bankruptcy? How long does it take for your credit score to go up after you discharge? Should I pay off an old collection? Can paying off all your credit card report negatively on your credit card? We talked about all these already, right? I have only one credit card. Will obtaining another credit card boost my score? Yeah, absolutely. If you only got one credit card and you don't have any negative items on your credit report, absolutely go out there. Now be careful, okay? Make sure you're in a position where you're going to be approved, all right? Make sure, don't have one credit card that's in collections or bad, payment history, because then the new credit card company is not going to approve you, right? So you want to be very careful. Or I'll tell you my tip in a second. My tip is related to this. So if you're watching, stay tuned. I'll give you my tip on how to boost your credit score in a second, but it's related to this actual question, okay? All right, someone says, where do I start? I said that already. How can you get hard inquiries removed? It's a part of the process that I do with all the other negative items. How can I get closed accounts? See, off my credit report. I mean, these are all the same questions that we already had. How do I remove a bankruptcy? Do accounts have to be delinquent for your services to help increase my score? No, they don't have to be delinquent at all. Where do I start? My funds are limited because I just lost my job. Payment plan option at above701.com. Will you possibly be running another special in the future? That's a really great question. And here's the deal. The June special for $1,000 is actually still active. I didn't delete it. So if you're looking for a June special for $1,000, it's on the website above 7. It's still there. So I didn't take it down. Not yet. Okay. Double payments. Will that help raise my score faster? No. 9 times out of 10, if you double pay, what's happening is that payment, unless you specify it, is being applied to your principal, okay? So let's say you owe $15,000 left on your car loan and you decide to pay more than the actual car note. and let's say your car note's $350 a month and you're paying $700, what 9 times out of 10, the auto finance company is gonna apply that $700 to your payoff amount of that $15,000. So it's gonna reduce what you owe the bank by that $700, but your monthly payment is still gonna be due. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times paying off or doubling up doesn't always put you in a favorable situation. So it's really important to understand like what's happening with your credit situation and where you are. Now, if you come into a big sum of money and you want to pay down your principal on certain things, like pay your house off early, pay your cars off, absolutely go for it. But just know that when you pay that lump sum, so it's not like, let's say you're going to pay off 10 months and you give the bank $3,500 and you say, okay, apply this for the next 10 months. That's not how it works. They're going to put that $3,500 and apply it to that $15,000, right? Unless you completely specify to them, this is for a monthly payment. So just know that if you're paying more than the actual monthly payment, it might be going to your principal and not to the actual monthly payment. Just FYI, okay? Just FYI, okay? All right, someone says, I'm grateful for what you do. Thank you. I'm so glad you found value in what I do. I signed up in June, yay. Do you guys send checkups or memos on what's happening? Great question. Yes and no. Yes and no. So here's what I do. So I am the one who's actually working on your credit and getting your credit where it needs to be. I have you sign up for an account with, typically it's Credit Check Total, right? So when I send out dispute letters or I work my magic with the credit bureaus, I always request that the credit bureaus will then send to you copies of the investigation results, your new credit report, updates, this, that, the third. Listen, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't control that. That's, again, a factor out of my control. I request it, and sometimes they do it, and sometimes they don't. Okay, fine. So what happens is that I have a file. I have all my systems are all cloud-based systems. So I have a tickler, and basically what happens is I go back and I review and then redispute every 60 days until I'm actually happy with the actual results. So in essence, if you think about what happens on your side as a client, you actually will find out before I will, what's going on with your actual credit report. You'll know before I do because you'll either log into your Credit Check Total account and you'll see it in Credit Check Total, or you will get the reports directly sent to you from the actual credit bureau. So you'll know before. The only way I'm gonna know something is if I log into your account for you and look at it, which I don't do literally every 60 days. Unless you email me or you contact me and I gotta do research, I might log in for that. But other than that, I don't touch it for 60 days. So there's not really a need for me because I put the tools in your hand, which is, again, is very different from my competition. So if you look at what FES might do or what Lexington Law might do, they're not giving you tools in your hand to look at what you have to look at. You have to call them or reach out to them to figure out what's going on. Not with me. You can see it before I see it, exactly what's happening, all right? So there you go. Okay, so let's see. Somebody asked about payment plan options. We talked about that. Should I pay off 3 collections or just wait it out after disputing? Always dispute, never pay. Because 9 times out of 10, we can get deleted what you're trying to pay for. You know what I mean? So I would say let's chill out on payment. Let's work on disputing and having deleted first, okay? Someone says thumbs up or thumbs down. This is a good one. Thumbs up or thumbs down to a low interest personal loan to get out of credit card debt faster. What you think? I'm gonna say. You gonna borrow some money to pay back what you borrowed and abused? That don't make sense to me. That don't make sense to me. Heck no. I would never recommend that somebody go out and get a loan to pay off debt, right? Not even. I mean, in the long run, it's costing you more money. You see what I'm saying? Just take the L for right now. You see what I'm saying? Let this be the time God is trying to teach you something about yourself, about discipline. Let this be that time where you just sit in reflection. You see what I'm saying? While you work on getting yourself. And there's a thing too. You gotta be okay with knowing that you're in a space of transition. Just be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to always be up in life. You're not going to always be down. But be okay right now with being in this space where you are allowing yourself to feel what you have to feel, to deal with what you got to deal with, and be okay with where you are so you can get to where you need to be. You see what I'm saying? And everybody faces it. I was too fat. I was 393 pounds. I got weight loss surgery. I had to be okay with coming to terms and dealing with that for myself. Okay? I wasn't happy with my teeth. I hated them. For 36 years, I hated my teeth. Guess what? I went and got my teeth fixed. You see what I'm saying? So I was in a space where I actually had to go ahead and admit to myself that I wasn't happy, I wasn't where I wanted to be, and that was the catalyst that prompted change. Now, I'm good. You see what I'm saying? So be okay with being in that moment, but I would never, ever in a million years advise anybody to take out a personal low-interest loan to pay off debt. That to me is ridiculous. Just start attacking the debt. Use cash for a little bit. Put together a plan. Get yourself together and say, okay, here's my 18-month plan. 18 months will fly by as long as you practice discipline and you practice sacrifice. Now watch this. You didn't get in debt overnight. You're not getting out of debt overnight. You see what I'm saying? Why are you trying to pay it off faster? You're going to miss something, all right? Stick with it. You're going to miss something, and then you're going to find yourself right back where you are because of those bad habits are very hard to break. So I would never advise that in a million years, okay? All right, cool. My credit score seems to be stuck at 647. What can I do? It's hard for me to tell you without looking at your actual credit, but if you have paid off everything and your utilization is fine and you don't have any negative items, you just need more credit. That's all. You just need more credit. So you can do this tip I'm going to give you in a few seconds, or you can just go apply for another credit card, and once you have more available credit, your credit score actually go up, right? That, or what we call trade lines, which is a whole separate conversation for a whole separate day. Okay? All right, let's see. Same questions. I need help really bad. Where do I start? What would you recommend as a first step? I mean, we've talked about all this. The biggest misconception about increasing your score. This is a good one. What is the biggest misconception? That it's going to happen overnight. That's the biggest misconception. I cannot tell you how many clients of mine have this expectation. I paid you this money. It's been 2 weeks. Why is my score not up? And I have to go back and let them know, listen, I never gave you a time limit. These are factors that are out of my control. I don't work at Equifax. I don't work at Experian. I don't work at I work at above701.com. That's where I work. So I can control that part. I just simply cannot control those other factors. So I think that's the biggest misconception, is that people think that it's going to happen overnight. And they also think you can get everything removed. Now I have plenty of clients where I got everything removed. I got plenty of clients where we got 98% of everything removed, right? But people think that, okay, one round of disputes, why is this stuff on my credit report? And well, it takes time, Puddin'. It takes a little time, okay? Now, if you didn't get in debt in 2 days, you're not gonna get out of debt in 2 days. It takes a little time, all right? I can work with you. Take a little time, okay? All right, will getting a quote on car insurance lower my score? Absolutely, okay? Absolutely, getting a quote on car insurance lowers your score. You know why? Because they have to run a hard inquiry on your credit report, all right? If you're trying to buy a home and you know you have to be at 640 and you just got to 647, so you just made it over the hump, Doc, you just got there, and you're at 647, you go to Geico for a quote. Geico says, give me your social security number, give me your date of birth, and your mother's maiden name. They're not asking you that for your health or for their health. They're asking you that because they're going to run your credit a hard inquiry. Every hard inquiry, 9 to 15 point decrease. Every single one. You was at 647. Doc, now you at 633. No mortgage for you. Okay? You have to understand that. Every time a hard inquiry is run, and you got to be careful with some of these credit card companies. Citibank is notorious for this. Citibank will run a hard. You got Citibank. You got a Citibank credit card 4 years ago. Citibank done went down here and they automatically ran your credit to see if you qualify for a credit increase automatically. You ain't even tell Citibank to do it. Yeah, you did when you signed up for the credit card. It's in the small print. You authorized them to run their credit whenever they felt like it. You authorized them. And so now 4 years later, some of you done signed talking about why my credit's gonna keep going down, because you let them do it. That's why. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be careful. You gotta know what happens. And sometimes we just don't know. We perish for lack of knowledge because we just don't know what goes on. All right? All right. So I have a lot more questions. I mean, this thing is like, it's lit, man. Like I have so many questions that I just can't get to all the questions, but I do want to give you this little tip real fast. So if you look, these are all the questions that people are asking me on Instagram. You can see like it goes on and on. Like, I don't know, it's a couple hundred questions that are on here from Instagram. And I'm not going to be able to get to all. I mean, it's just too many dang on questions, man. It's a lot of questions. I can't get to all of them. So again, if you are, if I didn't answer your question or you've got some questions for me, you can certainly inbox me or shoot me an email, Darius@DariusCooks.com. If you're curious about the service, check out the website above701.com. You can sign up right from the website, easy peasy, and we can go from there. All right. So here's what I want to tell you. I want to leave you with an actual tip. Here's a free way you can increase your credit score at least 50 points. At least 50 points, and it doesn't cost you a dime. If you're a part of my Periscope family, you've heard this before, okay? But now to all of my Facebook and my YouTube peeps, let me help you out, all right? Or if you came over from Instagram or you're following on the email list, wherever. Hey everybody, what's going on? Okay, here's what you can do right now, all right? If you have a credit card, all right? If you have a credit card and you're in good standing, that means that you have paid that credit card on time. That means that you don't have any late payments on that credit card. You're carrying a relatively low balance, and you've had a lengthy enough relationship, 24 months at least, relationship with the actual credit card provider. You can contact the credit card company for a credit limit increase, okay? This does not mean you go out and spend more money, okay? It doesn't mean that. It's not what this is. It's not a free pass to go shopping, okay? But if you do have a Capital One card, and let's say your limit is $1,500, you can call Capital One and say, I want to see if I qualify for a credit limit increase. I've had a really great relationship with you. They may run the credit and say no, right? You go back and say, can we escalate based on the relationship I've had with you? I've had great payment history. I've been with you guys for a long time. Can we see if we get an approval pushed through? If you insist, they'll do it, right? So let's say your $1,500 credit limit, they double it to $3,000, right? Great for you. What that does on the side for your credit is now your available credit has just gone from $1,500 to $3,000. You just increased with this one line of credit 100%. Okay? What does that mean for utilization? The amount of credit that you're actually using on a month-to-month basis is crucial, because if it's over 30%, it's going to decrease your credit score. Watch this. If you owe $200 on that $1,500 card, and now whatever that percentage is has just completely decreased by half, right? So if you were, let's just say you were at 15% utilization, now you're down to like 8% utilization because they increased the credit score. They increased the credit limit. So literally, you didn't pay any more money. You didn't pay anything down. You're not out of any additional cash. All you've done at this point was just ask for a credit limit increase so that now you have more available credit on your credit report, and the proportion of what you owed that was being reported as, debt or bad debt or whatever you owed has now decreased. When that percentage decreases, your credit score increases automatically, right? And if you play the numbers the right way, you can be looking at a 50, 60, 70 point increase just like that, all right? That doesn't mean you go out and buy a house. Doesn't mean that, okay? But it puts you one step closer to achieving your credit goals, your financial goals. It just puts you one step closer, all right? So that's it, y'all. That's my time. I hope this has been very, very helpful for you guys. I figured instead of trying to answer all these questions on Instagram, I just go live and we could just do a live session and we can get there and go through everything. If you guys have any additional questions, again, the website to sign up for my service is below. Of course, I want your business, but this wasn't about that. But you can go to above701.com. You can look at all the information that's there. There's FAQs. I post like every day, every other day, receipts of the work. I'm posting people's credit reports. I'm posting dispute investigation results. I'm posting all types of stuff. So the proof is in the pudding. You guys can see all that. I'm very reachable. You can inbox me again. You can email me. My main email is Darius@DariusCooks.com or info@above701.com. One way or the other, I'll be able to get back to you if you have any questions. All right. So this was good. I'm glad you guys. Oh, thank you. I'm looking at the comments. Everybody says it's very informative, good information, good session. I'm glad you guys enjoyed. We should do more of this, right? The more we know, the more we grow. And it's unfortunate that, we just not as a people. And you know what I mean? I'm not making this political. You know what I mean about, us as a people. It kind of pains me that we're not further along than where we need to be because of undercapitalization, because we don't understand the way money works, because, our credit's jacked up, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I can do to help out, I'm all down for it. All right. So I don't really have no sign off because I'm not cooking nothing. You know what I mean? But bye. I'll talk to y'all later.